It is the football show brought to you by KG Law, and I am a glass case of emotions. Jim, this is a first. We have games still going on. I'm talking with my hands like my grandmother used to, and it's driving me nuts. The Giants are in the midst of the worst collapse I've ever seen in my life, but then Sean Payton, I think, just gave them life by getting a personal foul plus a PI. How are you?
I'm trying to keep track of it just like everybody else is. You got the Packers trying to hang on, and your Giants are in the red zone. They're on the goal line. We're going to have to see how these games end, right?
Yeah, one problem. We're doing this. So let's rock and roll. No, that's okay. This is going to be unscripted. You're ahead of me, so I'm just going to rely upon you for the fate of my father. I mean, I had a lovely trip with him this weekend.
Have you
Good thing it might be the last one ever if the Giants lose this game. This poor man can't handle this. They gave up 30 points fourth quarter.
I just want people to understand the emotions that even just from a show standpoint we've gone through. Hey, the Giants found a quarterback. Hey, the Giants get a signature win. Yeah. Hey, the Giants are blowing it. Now the Giants are about to win it, right?
I don't know. Okay, do this. Yeah, the New York Football Giants are the five big things. I can't really dig into this the way I wanted to.
Okay, We'll go out of order. We'll go out of order. This was supposed to be the first of the five big things. It is clearly not resolved yet, but they are.
Move here. Ready? We're playing the 2 Grand Slam on your morning show. Pass. We'll get back to it.
We'll get back to it. All right.
Next.
Second point, Evan. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. The Colts. Here was the question I had for you. They dominated the game today. It looked closer than it was at the end. But Jim, I know I get stubborn about this, and Lord knows you were born stubborn. The whole idea is we have these barriers to entry for certain teams. Like, oh, well, they're good, but we can't say Super Bowl, can we? Tell me the reasons we can't say Super Bowl for the Indianapolis Colts.
Coming into this weekend, you would have said they haven't beaten a good quarterback. Stafford's the only decent one they played, and he beat him. Herbert, that's a pretty good quarterback. The caveat, though, would be this Chargers team doesn't have their offensive line. No, so that's what you'd say is how tested. You'd ask how tested are the Colts defensively, I think would be the only rebuttal to what is a 6-1 football team that sits atop the standings in the NFL. The O-line's legit. You can hand Jonathan Taylor Offensive Player of the Year, and Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones, has resurrected his career.
And that's the key. Like, I know my own biases that I had Daniel Jones as my quarterback. I have to let go of that. This guy is not that guy. He's a playmaker. I mean, even some of the play actions and some of the bootlegs and what he's doing within the pocket with the quick, great footwork, sidestepping, delivering the football down the field. Jim, if this is really what he is, he's become a good quarterback? Question mark?
Yeah. Now, again, if the hater hat's on, is it fair to question?
Oh my God! Did they give Oh my God! Did the Giants just score a touchdown?
Yes, they did, Mike. Jackson Dart extending the ball at the goal line, touchdown. He is all fired up on the sideline.
All right, well, hold on. They're not on the woods yet, so we're going to move to number 3 in this Mike and Jim Grand Slam. We'll get back to them. Let's go to the next thing in 5 big things.
Okay, this is you.
Carson Wentz is a criminal enterprise. Not just because we had Vikings getting 2.5, but a pick 6. You're 1 for 6 in the red zone. I mean, multiple. Holding on to the football, reading a book back there. But beyond the jokes about Carson Wentz and you can't win with a ginger and that whole bit, I just want to know if I'm overreacting to something. True or false, Brian Flores is one of the most overrated defensive geniuses, in air quotes, in recent memory.
Firmly true. And I think we see this play out every year the same way. He confuses bad, mediocre, average quarterbacks and offenses.
Yeah.
When they get in the playoffs or in big spots late in the regular season, last year with the Lions, Flores' defense unravels because you can heat up bad quarterbacks. You can't confuse, disguise, and blitz your way to beating the good teams in the NFL.
Did this asshole miss another extra point?
We're not done. We're not done because Knicks could set him up for a game-tying field goal here.
We've missed 2 extra points, Jim. Okay, back to Carson Wentz and Brian Flores. The issue for me is still the Eagles. I don't feel like the Eagles won it. I feel like the Vikings lost it. Another week where you're going basically 3 yards a carry with Saquon, and you hit a couple of these shot plays because Flores, I don't know what some of the third down calls were. Guys are running wide open. He didn't even blitz. So if you didn't blitz, it means you're in cover. Jim, to me, I just don't buy the Eagles as being anywhere close to the Detroit Football Lions right now.
Well, so look, Eagles fans are going to say, we've been waiting to see the downfield passing game. Hurts throws 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, predicated on play action. But Mike, you already answered it. What happens when teams figure out play action? You're not actually selling me the run because you can't run the ball. That only gets you so far. If Philly can't run it, they are going to have a ceiling as to what they could be as a football team.
Say the other thing, their pass rush is nowhere to be found. And when you have Brandon Graham potentially unretiring to help you, I think you've reached the bottom of the chili pot. I don't know what they could do at the deadline, but they're not going to get where they got to.
Broncos on the edge of field goal range, 20 seconds. They're trying to spike it. They're not in field goal range or on the edge of field goal range.
This is a torturous few moments of my Sunday evening.
To go.
You know what kills me? All right, you know what? No one cares. Let's go to the next thing in the 5 big things, and then we'll finish with the Giants because this is the perfect segue. I want to just offer something to people, which is I know I'm unfair about it. I don't do it right all the time, clearly. But we always try to hold like every team to the same standard, right? Like, look, we emanate from Detroit. The Lions generally, not only have they learned how to win, they've learned how to finish. They've learned how to drop bombs on teams. So I wanted to just shout out a couple teams that I think in real time are learning how to win. And they're not works of art, okay? So let's not get carried away. And, hey, maybe the Giants are about to learn a real lesson, which is kickers are assholes and you need to close games out. But I wanted to just shout out Carolina. I know it was gross. I know it's the Jets. Your running game wasn't great today. Your starting quarterback got hurt. You finished the game with Andy Dalton. But they are becoming a defensive-oriented team, a physical team. They don't let you run the ball. And they had lost, I think, 15 of 16 road games, Cookies. You got to start somewhere. And you're right. The Jets is kind of like an asterisk win. But I thought Carolina did a nice job. And then I just wanted to I know it's not something you want to do, but the Bears winning 4 in a row. And look, today, they were able to have a comeback win against the Commanders. And then today, game control. There was never a moment they weren't in control of the game, and that's really hard to do. And I know it's the Saints, but the Bears have now won 4 in a row, pounded the rock today. That offensive line is gelling. And you know from firsthand experience with Ben Johnson, if he gets that run game going, then all the jet motions and the play actions and the craziness. Look, I'm just what you're putting. What's the issue?
They're going to get a spike off and get a kickoff here. 5, 4, 3, spike. They got 2 seconds left. They're at the 20. Maybe the Broncos
talk about the Bears.
Okay. Here's the thing with the Bears. You're right. Like they're far cry from the JV team you thought they were in week 2. They're learning. This was always going to be a process, and the key was always running the football. Swift, Monangai. I love Monangai. They're over 200 yards rushing. The defense. I know it's Rattler, but it's disruptive. They forced 3 turnovers, 3 picks, and a forced fumble. This was a complete win for the Bears, and I don't care if it's against the Saints. You got to start stacking them. You got to start somewhere. That's the headline we give is learning to win. What's
the Bears' upside?
Playoff spot.
Okay. Can they win a playoff game?
I mean,
or is it just
depends on the draw, but I would say I wouldn't pick them right now. No,
because it's interesting. I'm looking at the North, and it's like, are the Vikings better than the Bears?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, the Vikings might be the worst team in the division.
I hated the way Green Bay played today, and I know that game's not over yet, or is it?
It may be. It was wrapping up. Take people to the last. We'll go to the last point before we circle back to the Giants.
Jim, I just saw it.
The Packers won. It was 27-23. We can go deeper in the rundown. Evan, hit the next of the 5. Here we go. This was specific for you.
What, my team giving up 33 points in a fourth quarter that didn't feature a pick six or a kickoff return for a touchdown, up 26-8. And the only reason this game's not going to overtime is some asshole kicker who I've never heard of missed 2 extra points today. 2. What's the law? Oh, you want to talk Drake May? Let's talk Drake May. Let's talk Drake May.
And then we'll circle back to the Giants.
Yeah.
Because that kick up and good?
What do you think by my current disposition right now?
I think the kick was up and good, people. Okay, this is supposed to make you feel a little better. You're a Drake May guy, and he had a hell of a day today. He set the Patriots franchise completion record in the game. He was 21-23. I wanted to play a little game with my friend Mike. I want to play Drake May or I'm going to name a quarterback, and you tell me who you'd rather have.
Man, this is my heartthrob. You can't do this to me. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to remain even keel. You know, this has been my guy since that draft year. I love this kid. So,
Okay.
all right, I will do my level best.
I think some of these might be easy then, but we're going to start and build up. The first name, Caleb or Drake May or Caleb Williams.
I was Drake May over Caleb at the draft. Am I wrong if I stay that way now?
No.
I just feel like he plays with way more control than Caleb. And maybe Caleb will end up being better, but right now there are very few guys throwing the deep ball better than Drake May in this league. So I'll say Drake May.
Drake May or Bo Nix?
Drake May. Not even close.
Drake May or CJ Stroud?
Boy, I feel like the situation's killing CJ, but
you get to pick one to start your team with today.
Drake May.
Drake May or Justin Herbert?
Justin Herbert. Let's calm down. I think Justin Herbert is an immense, like, gold jacket level type talent. So
I think that's the comp though, right? Big arm,
yeah,
some mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other names I had, couple more. Drake May or Dak Prescott?
You still have to. I'm going to ask you about Dak later in the show. I'll say Dak for right now. Jim, he's playing at an MVP level. He really is. I'll say Dak.
Drake May or Jordan Love?
Out of hell. I'm so tired of watching the Packers. I don't even know what to do with that team. We're going to get to it. Just out of spite, I think it might be Drake May. Because the Jordan Love thing doesn't make sense to me right now. Like, he didn't play bad today, but he didn't produce anything that I care about. I don't know what's going on with Green Bay. I know Micah Parsons, if they end up winning this game, and I don't know what's taking place.
They won. The Packers won.
Then great. Then Micah Parsons should get every game ball. Not only the 3 sacks, but about 30 pressures.
He had 3 sacks. They had 5 or 6 as a team. Yeah.
Yeah, he had 3. He finished the game basically taking the Cardinals' last drive and crumpling it up like recycling. I'm going to go Drake May.
Okay.
I just think right now, Drake, look, to me, Jim, the deep ball, the accuracy, sprinkling in the run, making decisions. It's not a finished product in New England, but he operates at a high level. And right here, right now, I know a week ago, I wasn't ready to go there until or unless I saw, like, hey, Atlanta and Buffalo, let me see what a Buffalo bounce back looks like. And they got bounced. So is it impossible Drake May is going to lead his team to a division title? It's not impossible.
No, I respect it.
Right.
I didn't know what you'd do with Love. Evan, let's go back to the New York Football Giants. Michael, floor's yours.
No. I will have a executive phone call with my father after we wrap tonight. I think this is exhibit like 1A. You got to learn how to win. You're on the road. You're up. You got to finish the game. But see, let me ask you this. This is a better way to do this is asking you if these things are true. Do you believe the New York Giants have found their quarterback?
I can't say it yet.
Okay.
But I don't want to leave you I don't want to leave you hanging in the dark. Look, not knowing, but it being a possibility is a whole hell of a lot better than what it was 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay. I guess I was just looking at when they were up and they're up 19-0 and then 26-8 or even take the lead. Look, did true or false, did Jackson Dart not lead the game-winning drive? I can't help it. Shane Bowen is a piece of shit. Can I say that? Shane Bowen, our defensive coordinator, is human shit. This asshole should be fired into the fucking sun. Now, I digress.
Column A is, yes, led what should have been the game-winning drive. If they make the extra point, it's at least a tie overtime. There's moxie. There's a 4th and 19 where he's got to make a big throw, takes a shot, still finishes the drive, gets the ball in the end zone.
Yes.
That's column A. Here's the other problem, though. He threw a pick in the 4th quarter. Like, he also was a part, not a big part, but part of blowing this lead today.
He made one mistake, but I guess I just look at it in totality. Do they have their quarterback? Do they have their running back? Do they have their left tackle? I view it like, yes. They have their franchise receiver, but he's in a wheelchair right now. Malik Neighbors is that dude. Like, he's a top 10 receiver. I look at that, and then I look at this look, I do think if they make a change of coordinator, they'll be better for it. I just don't think they're as far away as maybe it looked a month ago. That's all. Now, this loss is crippling, utterly crippling. But losses, look, this is what happens with rookie quarterbacks. You're trying to close out the Denver Broncos on the road. Would it have killed the defense? Drew Phillips may as well have wheeled a keyboard out there with sunglasses on. I mean, find the ball, Drew. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I mean, that is just as bad as it gets. No pick six, no kickoff return for a TD. And on the square, you give up 33 points in the fourth quarter. You can't fucking make that up. If Shane Bowen is not fired, they are a wholly unserious franchise.
And again, the headline, could have been, rookie quarterback on the road in altitude, missing a bunch of receivers, wills his team to victory. Yeah. And instead, it's another loss.
I think it's just the idea, like Lions fans have experienced their franchise turning it around. You have that moment, right, where they beat Green Bay in 22. Dan Campbell got out of that tailspin of 1-6 in year 2. The Eagle win felt like part 1, and then you go on the road to Denver, and you're dominating these guys, and you go, okay, maybe this is where they're not going to be good this year, but hey, Washington lost. They're a game out of the division lead, and maybe there's something that I don't know. The point is, it's all gone. I feel like the father in A Christmas Story holding the turkey, like, no turkey a la king, no turkey a la hash. I'm standing there in my pajamas just yelling, "You damn pumpuses!"
I can't believe how that just played out while we start the show, man.
That's God. Cool. It's cool. That's pretty awesome. I'd like to every week I say this. I just need to talk to Lawrence Cagey and file a lawsuit against John Mara. All right, Jimmy, give him a word from our sponsors. We'll get to the rundown. I need a moment.
So let's do it. Let's tell you about KG Law. The football show is brought to you by KG Law. You've been on these roads. People are maniacs. If you or someone you love is in a car accident, don't mess around. Get someone who cares about you. 877-KG-CARES, kgcares.com. You get the extra attention from a law firm that cares and puts you first. KG Law specializes in car accidents, so they're not going to leave money on the table. They're not going to settle for some lousy insurance lowball. Get my guy, Lawrence Cagey, and KG Law at 877-KG-CARES. That's K-A-J-Y, kgcares.com.
All right, let's get to the rundown brought to you by Hungry Howie's. Pip, pip, cheerio. I believe this is the last of the London games. Are we off to Portugal next week, or where are they playing? Rams 35, Jags 7. I can't quit these guys. Every time I'm ready to write the Rams off and be like, all right, they're fine enough, but they can't really do damage. Then they go and do something like this where it's like they didn't just win. Stafford with 5 touchdowns, absolute perfection. And look, the Jags, the numbers look pretty, but they got absolutely demolished. And now these two teams head into the bye week, I think, with very different mindsets. The Rams have a right to believe they can win the West. They have a right to believe they could earn a top seed. I mean, look, there's only one team out there with I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Say higher. They have a right to believe they can win the Super Bowl.
Sure. Okay. Yes. And I guess that's my thing is every time I feel like, well, Stafford's spine or, oh, their young defense kind of spit the bed or whatever it is. Oh, Puka's knees barking again.
They're the only team that's beaten the Colts this season. They had 7 sacks today. It's a young but productive front. The quarterbacks won a Super Bowl. They did it without Puka today, and they had their feet kicked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the other side of the coin, if you're old fishing vest, you get out there and beat the Chiefs, you do the big locker room speech, and what has happened since? A whole bunch of nothing. And outside of the whole Travis Hunter getting his first TD, I would be greatly concerned with what they got going on. And what do we say from the start? They are too reliant on turnovers. And if you don't turn it over, they have major problems. And it's coming home to roost a little bit. So I'm very concerned about the Jags.
They feel like a team that's going to win 8 or 9 games. They're going to beat some bad teams. But you just saw who they truly are. Drops, penalties, quarterbacks getting killed. Yeah, and the quarterback play's not good either. I'm not trying to let Lawrence off the hook. I mean,
you hate him, don't you? Let me ask you a question, just for fun, because we're spitballing, and I'm an emotional wreck right now. Also, Big G has texted me 4 times while I'm on the air, as if he doesn't know that I'm on the air. Right? This poor man. Oh my God. When will a day come where you hate a quarterback more than Trevor Lawrence? I swear, this guy did something to you. Him and Jordan Love, you don't dislike. you hate.
I just think they're sloppy. Like the mechanics are sloppy. They've got a knack for making boneheaded plays. They both get propped up. Lawrence is a number one guy and loved by the guy I do the football show with. Like,
listen, it's like at this point. Okay, I think there was a
Jordan
passion there for a bit. I'm close to putting this cat in the friend zone. I can't keep doing this.
We're renaming him Jordan Like.
Yeah, Jordan Like. It's going from Jordan Lust to Jordan Love to Jordan Like.
Okay.
To Jordan Ghost.
Okay.
I can't take much more. Okay, look, we've said enough about that game. Can we go just Eagles-Vikings real quick just to revisit the criminal enterprise that is Carson Wentz? How the hell did you and I lose that game when you watch it? Okay, 1 for 6 in the red zone. Are you serious, Carson?
The play that you and I lost it was Hawkinson in the end zone, touchdown. No, wait, no, it's not a touchdown because that would have made it a 2-point game and we're winning either way.
I don't understand the call. Can you help me? Because you're the stickler. I just view it. You called a touchdown on the field. If it takes 7 minutes to review it, it's still a touchdown. I didn't understand it.
I thought in the moment touchdown, I saw a review and my pit in my stomach. I knew what they were going to do as soon as I saw it. The ball bobbled. Therefore, nothing else matters. Not a touchdown. And then you're right. Then it goes back to their red zone issues. They don't finish the drive with 6, and they were always on the wrong side. And that's a day where the Eagles didn't run the ball.
Nope.
And it's a day where they should have got, but the Vikings couldn't finish.
Also, Brian Flores' third down calls are complete toilet. I don't get it. Like, if you're only going to rush 3, how can AJ Brown be basically 9 yards behind everyone? Let's move on. I want to go to, hold on here. Browns Dolphins would be the next one. This was one of my favorite plays of the week. We had the Browns. It was a snoozer. Dolphins blow. And I think you said it best. I laugh my ass off because sometimes the things you say about Michigan State mirror the Dolphins, and it's kind of cool. Like last night you texted me, you're like, what is MSU waiting for? Just fire this man already. And then I come into the show sheet. What are the Dolphins waiting for? Just fire this man already. I mean, it does apply.
Well, what are they waiting for? What's the holdup?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this. Tua being one of the 3 QBs to get benched after saying what he said at the podium last week, it's not accidental. And Tua played poorly. That's an elite defense out there with the Browns. But, Jim, it's a road to nowhere. I mean, Chris Greer's got the best job security because of that Brian Flores lawsuit. I don't think they want him out there and disclosing what's actually going on. You know you're going to fire McDaniel. And what coach are you bringing in that's going to hitch his professional future to Tua right now?
Just there's a low of being 1-5, and there's a low of being 1-5 and losing to the 1-5 Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
and losing handily, getting your ass kicked.
I mean, Dylan Gabriel's on a step stool back there. He's on like a mini ladder. I mean, it's just, Jim. I think part of the sentiment with McDaniel and why they won't fire him is they don't have a good staff. They don't have someone they don't have a Dan Campbell there who could be the interim coach. It's more Joe Philbin than anything else.
Yeah.
But do I think McDaniel's fired? Maybe by the time I do the pod with you, or maybe by the time I do, apparently I'm hosting a show tomorrow afternoon with you before Lions and Bucs.
Can't get rid of me.
I love you, buddy. I wouldn't be shocked if he got fired. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation. Everything's fine. Let's go to the Titans and Patriots, shall we?
Yep.
New week, same shit. I mean, the Titans are here. Let me ask you this question. Here's my initial reaction. Besides, God, I love Drake May. He's a heartthrob. Finishes 21-23, by the way, which is absurd. Would you consider the following? It is so bad for the Titans from a pass protection standpoint. Would you give Cam Ward a breather as to preserve his brain?
You see what I see with him, though. Like, there are flashes. He threw the 40-yard bomb to DK today. But he's getting hung out to dry. He's the most sacked quarterback in football. He's given up 5 fumbles. Some of that's he's got to learn ball security, but he's just being put in a lousy spot.
No, and that's my question.
Do you even know who their backup is? Like, I off the top of my head, like, who are they even? Brandon Allen. You're just going to throw Brandon Allen out and say, "Hey, Cam, we got to take some of the heat off you right now."
Yes, I look. You've already fired his coach. The offensive line's not getting any better. and my whole point is, whether it was what USC did to Caleb into year 1, I think it's affected Caleb. And I think when you drop back and you're sacked 70 times in a season and pressured, I mean, Jim, a couple hundred times.
Yeah,
and I'm not being like sports radio hyperbolic guy. I would just
all they've got.
would you give him a breather to say
he's all they've got? He's their silver bullet. Like, you know what I'm saying? What
yeah,
else
but that's my whole point. You're going to get him killed, and then the next guy's going to have a harder time unwinding it.
Correct.
I don't know. I was just thinking for a couple of weeks, let him watch the action, get his body right, and go, look, we're going to put you back in there. But you need to watch what's actually happening. And ultimately, you know what the Titans care about 2027 when they're opening the new stadium and they got to sell a bunch of stupid seats. Panthers, Jets, a game was played. No one will remember it. I'm happy for the Panthers because they're piecing it together. You got to learn to crawl before you can walk, before you can run. And for them, it's simple. They just don't win road games. Bryce Young was 1-15 for his career. He didn't finish the game. He got hurt, but the Panthers are 4-3, 7 weeks in, and it warrants some respect. And look, they're going to run the ball. They're going to play defense. This was not a work of art. And for the Jets, this thing for Aaron Glenn gets worse because a week after you did a Bryce Harper, that's a clown question, bro, about benching your quarterback, cutscene, you benched your quarterback. So what do you make of it? I mean,
that's what I wanted to fixate on first, and it's not to slight the Panthers. 4-3 winning record for the first time for them since October 2021. Okay, yes, they're headed in the right direction. The Jets, for Aaron Glenn to be 0-7, okay, that's bad. For him to play tough guy, like you guys don't know what you're talking about. You pulled the quarterback the very next game. You can't gaslight people into pretending this stuff's not happening because you're going to lose even more ground than you are on the score sheet or in the win-loss column. You can't lie to people or gaslight people. They saw Justin Fields struggle. You saw Justin Fields struggle, and you benched him the very next game. See, that's where I worry about for him because I think people locally want it to work.
I do.
People want to see the Dan Campbell tree, and he seems like a good dude. I don't think it's going to work in New York.
He's in trouble because New York ain't going to wait. Bears Saints, we can keep this one quick. It's a wire-to-wire win. They're 4-2, 4 straight wins. Comeback last week, domination this week. Here's their next 3 games: at Baltimore, at Cincy, and home against the Giants. Jim, if they get 2 out of 3, you can start talking the P word. If they sweep the board and they're sitting there at 7-2, you talk something different. This is going to be their graduation month. They got 3 weeks to prove they're for real. Take 2 out of 3, you're real. You're sitting at 6-3 in a wide open NFC. Ground game is good, and the Bear defense decided they wanted to play today. Compared to the first 2 weeks, that secondary played well. And Rattler, hey, if we want to make fun of him, that's fine. He wasn't turning the ball over this season. They forced him into 3 picks.
He had 1 pick, I believe, coming into the day today. So, and I don't think people took him seriously. He's been surprisingly decent at quarterback, and the Bears made him look mediocre.
They're playing hard for Kellen Moore, man. They're playing hard for him. So there's your silver lining.
And the Bears are playing hard for Ben Johnson. There's a real buy-in. I think a game like this specifically shows stylistically a level of buy-in for Ben Johnson.
Chiefs Raiders, your notes say it all. So take it away. I quit. I can't even believe these are real.
Evan's going to put up a little stat card, and it's going to have some of this, but I don't think it's going to do it justice. This is as lopsided a game as we've seen. First downs, 30-3. Yards, 430 to 96. Time of possession, 42 minutes to 17 minutes. Mike, it's welcome back Rashee Rice, and it's why did only one team show up?
Chiefs are back. Move on. I quit. The hellscape continues. The Chiefs are back. Happy? Your team had a chance to end them, and you couldn't do it. All right, Cards, Packers, you could take the lead here. I hated everything I saw from Green Bay. A win is a win and yada, yada. At a certain point, Green Bay's got to start playing better. First half was morbid. They moved food around their plate. We talked about empty calories last week. There's nothing to point to for Jordan Love of like, oh, he threw 17 picks. He didn't, but it didn't result in anything. The ground game goes long chunks without doing anything. The wide receiver core, it's still Romeo Doubs as your lead dog. It's not good enough. Thank God they got Micah Parsons to single-handedly save the damn game for him today. So that's all I got. I'm just not impressed.
Look, Rashawn Gary, I think, forced a fumble. They had a front that played well today, and Parsons is the spear, the tip of the spear. The defense saved the day. Cardinals have a chance to ice it midfield, 4th down. Packers defense gets the stop. Right now it's a short field for Jordan Love, who had to pick up 1 big 4th down, give him that, but was wholly uninspiring. When you are brought to the brink by Brissett, that's not a game that anybody's going to celebrate.
Nope. Let's go Cowboys Commanders, and we'll wrap this. All I came away with this, we liked the Cowboys today. We love the over, so that was fun. but Dak is playing at an MVP level, and CD made his presence felt. George Pickens had another couple highlight grabs again, and that offense, Jim, if they're going to get into the 30s, they're going to win games, and if they're not, they're going to lose them. That's who they are. I think they're going to be maddening to face. I think they're maddening to root for, and they'll probably fall a game short of making the playoffs.
I was just going to ask you, where does this all lead? And I was mentally going to go, well, is it a playoff team? Wait, they just played the Bears. Bears beat them. Those are two teams vying for a playoff spot. It feels like a 7, maybe 8-win Cowboy team that scores a ton of points.
Yeah, they're a shit ton of fun.
and a great team to bet the over. Now, you say MVP, and I think people are going to laugh, and they're not going to win enough games to be MVP. But the definition of an MVP is value. Value. Right. If you don't have a defense and you got to score 40 to win every week, you are valuable as the signal caller of that offense.
All the pressure's on him. All right, let's get a word from Hungry Howie's before I calm Jim down about Monday night.
Hungry Howie's is repping Detroit because, well, they've got great Detroit-style pizza. Look, the whole menu, you know what you're getting. The best ingredients, in-house made dough, real cheese. A lot of places can't say that, believe it or not. And the Detroit-style pizza, right now, it's priced competitively. $12.99. All you need to do, get on over to hungryhowies.com and celebrate boldly with all of our great local sports right now. It's Hungry Howie's authentic Detroit-style pizza. Go to hungryhowies.com.
All right, let's talk Lions presented by Moran Chevrolet. Jim, all I can tell you is I don't like the Lions on Monday night. I love them. Much like last week was a game you were going to lose. This is a week you are going to win, and I think they are going to demolish the Bucs. I think this is a bounce-back spot at home in prime time. Detroit fans are going to bring it. Ford Field's going to be an absolute shit show, and the Bucs are coming in here all kinds of banged up. I got a little positive news today. You might see Evans and or Ibuka give it a go. The Ibuka one, I have major doubts. You got a hamstring, and you're questionable. Do I really think you're running 60 routes on Monday night? I don't. No Bucky Irving, no Chris Godwin. For the Lions, to me, ground and pound, hard play action. I just feel like Lions going to play incredibly well because Dan Campbell's one of the best coaches in the league. He does not lose back-to-back, and I think you got a pissed-off group. Two of your best players are probably real pissed off at themselves. Amon-Ra for the drop on 4th down, Aiden for the idiotic personal foul, and I just buddy, we curate spots on the podcast all the time. This is a curated spot. This is the Detroit the Lions will win this game, period.
I believe you, and I'm right there with you. In fact, I'm going to be right there with a bunch of Lions fans. This could be the first game I've gone to as a fan in years. I am pumped to be there for this game. It's my wife's first Lions game she's ever been to. We are amped to see this, and you're right, Mike. I think the big area of concern is going to be, what about the Lions secondary, right? You're missing 2 corners and 2 safeties. Well, if Tampa's missing significant playmakers, and you didn't bring this up, they're missing their right guard and their right tackle. Big Aiden Hutchinson spot. This is spot for Aiden, who had 4.5 sacks the last time these two teams played. It's
when they had a backup tackle and they had a tight end on him on 2 of the sacks. Yeah, this is the game that puts Aiden in the Hall of Fame. He's facing all backups. He's going to go nuts.
So what you do is you get Aleem McNeil back. It helps Aiden even more. The D-line for the Lions is going to have to come up with some big plays. I have no doubt the Lions offense will respond. They're playing at home. They're going to look really good.
If they don't, then we're having a completely different conversation. They should absolutely roast this team. And nobody loves Baker more than me. But the Bucs have been flying way too close to the sun with the heroics and the bullshit. I don't think the Lions are going to let you get away with it.
Bucs are 5-1. Point differential is +14. They've been living on the edge.
Yeah.
This is the spot the Lions should take care of business. Now, Baker's feisty, so he may have a say in how this thing goes down, but I think you got to back the Lions here, right? Lions fans, even with the injury, should feel confident you win.
Maybe I'm crazy. I feel supremely confident. Like I feel like this is a game. I'll be shocked if this is close in the 4th quarter. I feel like the Lions are going to do to the Bucs what the Chiefs did to you. I just feel like it's one of those really impressive statement games. And look, the Bucs are due for some regression. Jim, they have 4 last drive victories. Mm-hmm. All right. You're the best team they will have faced, and it's at your place. And if the Bucs were a well-oiled machine and everybody's healthy, I have a different opinion. But I really think the Lions offense is going to be able to put the screws to them. And I do believe in a bounce back because I believe in the culture the Lions have created. I believe in that locker room and the accountability is that offense knows we weren't good enough. Dan Campbell put it on the offense and said, look, we're going to have to score tonight. They didn't do it. So I expect they will play really well.
Look, there was a lot of talk about what the Lions offense was going to look like when they lost Ben Johnson and they lost Frank Ragnow and they lost the first game of the season.
Yeah.
But I think the response we saw, not only against the Bears, but the Ravens, and as the season's gone on, what's rung true is the personnel is still really good. Jared Goff is a supercomputer quarterback. You still have a damn good offensive line. You still have Penei Sewell as an all-pro and an all-pro in Amon-Ra St. Brown. J-Mo has taken whatever role they need on the given week and has no attitude and can pop a big play at any moment. They're very talented personnel-wise on offense. So while I respect Vita Vea and he's given this team fits, I think Antoine Winfield Jr. is one of the best safeties in football. There's going to be some things they have to navigate. The Lions have the personnel, and there's no excuse coming home. They have not lost back-to-back games since October of 2022, 3 years ago. So, yes, I think they win the game.
All right, put on your sequins tomorrow night. You're going to have a good time.
Thank you.
I think you may win by double digits. How about that? You and that stupid disco. All right, let's get a word from Moran Chevrolet, and we'll get to the mailbag.
Truck Month is back at Moran Chevrolet. Perfect time to elevate your tailgating at Moran, Michigan's #1 selling Chevy dealer. The best game days start in a 2026 Silverado LT Crew Cab. You can lease one right now for $179 a month, 24 months. A new Silverado for $179 a month. Come on. You're not going to see prices like that anywhere else. Lease a 25 Equinox LT, $299 a month, 36 months. The entire team at Moran makes the whole process simple, fast, and stress-free. So whether you're buying, leasing, or servicing your car, everyone at Moran makes sure you are well taken care of. Find your ride fast and easy at MoranExpress.com or stop by on Gratiot, just north of 15 Mile in Clinton Township. Moran Chevrolet, where you always get the best price, period. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
All right, let's get to our C4 Energy question of the week, specifically C4 Ultimate. Dakota asks a question. Boy, I'll tell you, this is a ball breaker. We're talking about kickers. Geez, Jim, didn't we just open the show with this? With the kickoff and K-ball changes, kickers seem more important than ever. Do you think more teams will use higher draft picks on elite college kickers? No, Dakota. 2 words, Jake Moody. Kicker bust rate is higher than baseball prospects. You can't predict it. The best kickers usually drop from the clouds. Who the hell's Pete Aubrey, the guy in Dallas? Who the hell's the Lions kicker? He's a brick salesman. I mean, good God, the kid for Green Bay today who kicked a 61-yarder was going to be a substitute teacher next week if the Pack didn't call. No. Now, the other side of it is, great, my kicker missed 2 extra points, and I never heard of who this asshole is. So you can get yourself in a rut. But I'm not wasting capital on kickers. That's like drafting backup quarterbacks in the 3rd round, Jim. So for me, no, I don't think you're going to see a Sebastian Janikowski anytime.
You're like trying to get me to go in another direction. The quarterback position is one you can roll the dice on. The kicker is not one you should be rolling the dice on. And I had the opposite read that Dakota did. He thinks you should invest more. I think you should invest less because they've made it easier to kick, right? They've actually made it easier for these guys to succeed. So you don't need a one-of-one super mega all-star. You just find a substitute teacher or a bricklayer or a brick salesman, and then you go win games.
I got to find out what this kicker for the Giants does for a living besides shove his head up his own ass.
Well, he's going to have a new gig soon, right?
What a pile of garbage. How do you miss 2 extra points? Not even a field goal, an extra point? What a dick. All right, let's just honestly, that if he plays for the team next week, whatever jersey number what is he wear, 13 or whatever it was? The nameplate on the back should just say Dick. All right, here's your segue. C4 Energy. I'm ready to smash something. C4, if you got a question for us, go to a participating 7-Eleven. Look for the QR code at the C4 Energy display. Or on the cooler, scan the QR code. Ask your question for a list of participating 7-Elevens. And contest details, go to 971theticket.com. C4 Energy. It's the good stuff. 200 milligrams of good caffeine in the performance or 300 milligrams in the ultimate energy. C4, not traditional. It's next level. Sugar-free, made for athletes. And they have rolled out the Jolly Rancher flavors, which I have witnessed Jim pounding those things during our pod tapings during the week. Look, get to 7-Eleven. Find the QR code at the C4 Energy display and ask your question. All right, Cookies, let's talk Sunday night. We've had a decent day in the NFL. This is the trickiest game of the week. It's brought to you by Crocodile Cloth. Niners versus Atlanta. Jim, this thing is down to a pick 'em. Early in the week, Niners were 2.5-point favorites. It's basically swung to a pick 'em now. It's Atlanta on a short week, flying to the West Coast, so some of me understands it. But am I wrong? And I looked at it and I felt like the wrong team's favored. Atlanta comprehensively seems like they've put it together. Drake London, Bijan Robinson, both explosive. The run game travels. The defense, look, you saw James Pierce make some plays last week. Xavier Watts has had a really good start to the season. What am I missing? Because I feel like I said this to you on the podcast earlier in the week. I feel like I'm walking into it here that I like Atlanta tonight. What am I missing with the Niners?
So what I want to tell you is you don't have to go back very far. Early in the season, Atlanta played the Carolina Panthers and the score was 30-0. And we said Atlanta just might not be ready for primetime, the spotlight, being in a position where people believe in them. See, last week they got to be spoiler against the Buffalo Bills, and we loved that matchup with their run game and bullying and Bijan. Mike, the Falcons should win this game. There's no Nick Bosa. There's no Fred Warner. But it's a short week with travel off back-to-back wins, including a big pound-your-chest, we're so good win. The Niners, I think they're going to win this game tonight. I really do. They're getting George Kittle back. Mac Jones, I believe, is playing, not Purdy, but the gap has not been significant this year.
No, it hasn't.
And I don't like that they can't run the ball, but would it surprise me if CMC caught a couple balls, made a couple things happen?
Would it surprise you if Atlanta just went Atlanta?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Exactly. All right. Well, look, I can't go back. I like them getting the 2.5 points. I'm not telling anybody to run out there and grab them and a pick them. I just feel like they're comprehensively a better team, and you can get by without Werner for a week. But the reality is going to hit you when you go to the install and Fred's not there.
Yeah.
And Bosa's not there, and you're facing a rushing attack that is diverse. That requires everyone to be where they need to be, because Bijan, give him an inch, he's taking a mile. I'm running with Atlanta. I'm not mad. You're going to be right. You will. But I still want our head-to-head this week, so I don't care. How'd that Tennessee bet work?
By the way, the one you baited me into that I wasn't even going to play, I realized it later, too. I go, he only wanted me to bet this because he knows he's a shoo-in if I do.
You put me in the winner's circle. It's like when you shit talk
like
a horse for 30 minutes. You put him in the winner's circle. All right, let's get a word from Crocodile Cloth before we get people to their football.
All right, well, we got a second. Let's tell you about Crocodile Cloth. It's your do-it-all solution for life's toughest messes, and we love the Crocodile Cloth grill. Here's why. If you love grilling but hate the cleanup, these are going to be a game changer. They've got Crocodile Cloth grill. They're 10-inch by 15-inch. They stay wet a long time, and they're going to power through anything that gets caked on or baked on your grill. Crocodile Cloth can clean your cooler, your outdoor furniture, anything and everything that gets messy at your tailgate or cookout. So go to crocodilecloth.com/football show. Get a tailgate bundle and a free gift. As they say at Crocodile Cloth, go ahead, get messy.
Get messy. Miss 2 extra points while you're at it. Jim, any parting words?
Can you read any of the texts your father sent you on the podcast, or are they all in poor taste?
No, my dad doesn't curse, believe it or not. My dad is actually just, my dad. So you know,
a good guy. I know.
He's phenomenal. And he's heartbroken. I'll just leave it at that. He is. I just hope he's not doing an emotional support walk in pitch black. All right.
I just can't believe it was going to be our number one thing today, that the Giants on the road found their quarterback. And they may still have, to your point. I don't mean to erase everything that Dart did.
You're not. This isn't North
it's just
Korea.
When you lose. I know. When you lose. And by the way, to think you're going to blow it. No, wait, he did it. No, wait, we lost. All in a span of 10 minutes.
I would rather have lost the first time rather than lose twice. Like for Jackson Dart to go down the field and lead that drive.
No, I disagree with you.
Your idiot kicker misses an extra point.
No, you should take that back. You should want the moment of Dart going down the field. If they lose without him making that drive, I don't know if you feel as good about him.
Well, I don't feel good now. So you know what? Whatever. That's the football show. Appreciate you guys listening, and we'll be back at it. Jim, basically, you and I are just hosting. We're going to do a radiothon, basically. I'll talk to you in about 30 minutes, okay? Our next show's up. All right, that's the football show. We'll talk to everybody later.